Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
And we are live. Welcome, my friends, to a brand new studio setup. I can say with all excitingness and all intrigue and welcome to the community that after 415 days of consecutive writing streams, it was time for a new change. So I am officially excited to announce that I am testing out and trying out a brand new live streaming studio. So we're going to play around with some features for today's stream. We have a couple of updates, but the first biggest one is the brand new studio. So that's what I am super excited about. And yeah, welcome to the community. I'm Kaufman. I'm on a mission to help the writers of the world with the process, lifestyle, and mindset that it takes to be a writer. Come join us and we will see how this goes. All right, and let's see what we got. Interesting. All right, so I pulled it up on my end just to look at what it looks like from your guys' end, and yeah, it is super blurry. It's definitely very, very blurry. That is a great question. Let's see if it will let me change the resolution. Got. Yeah, so we're gonna play around with them. Like, yeah, that is extremely blurry. It looks great on my screen, and I'm looking at the YouTube version of it, and it's really, really blurry. I'm like, that's interesting. Let's see, and yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh man, I absolutely love your guys's I love your guys' comments. It's actually really, really funny. You guys are cracking me up. So I'm looking at it. I love the comments on the screen, but the video and visual itself is actually extremely blurry. That is a good question. So let's see if I can fix that.
Right now.
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 Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right.
Playing around with some. I'm going to be playing around with a couple features and see if I can't adjust this. Yeah, I don't know why it's so blurry. That's interesting. Okay, so let's stop that. Okay, I'm going to try something. So I'm going to play around with doing some screen sharing. I'm curious if it still goes blurry on me with playing around with showing other things on the screen. So like I said, I'm testing around a couple features and seeing what this new setup looks like. It's interesting. Okay. So yes. I was like, what do I even have pulled up here? Let's test. Let me pull up some type of scarecrow thing. Let's see. Let's just go a quick outline. I was curious to see if it's still coming up blurry on the screen share side of things. So we're going to throw that up there. Let's see. Yeah, interesting. So the screen share is fine. The screen share is absolutely fine. But for some reason, the stream camera itself, yeah, the screen is good. Yeah, and I see that as well, which is interesting. But I have to figure out how to solve that. Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. So, like, I'm looking at I'm checking it out on my end. Let's go back to this layout. What we have. So, yeah, that is interesting. So when I'm looking at the overall setup of it, I love having the comments on the side there, but I'm not sure why it is so blurry on my end. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna try. I'm going to try restarting. Let's test that out. So we're going to restart right now, and we're going to see if that changes the quality on my end. Because it's like you can still see me. I'm looking at what you guys are seeing on your end, and you guys can still see me. It's just super blurry. And when things are blurry, it doesn't give the greatest experience, which is rather unfortunate. So give me just a second, my friends. I'll be right back. I'm going to try restarting this and seeing if that makes a difference on my end. BRB. All right, I am back. Interesting. All right, so let's see what we got here. So I'm back in the studio. Let me go pull up this stream. Let's see what it looks like. Oh wow, there we go. All right, it's like crystal clear now. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, so that is very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's just playing around. So like, welcome. I'm like, I'm glad I'm glad that it's actually good quality. As you guys can see, brand new studio setup. Like I said, after 400 or so live streams, I knew that I really wanted to update the experience. One of the things that I've always struggled with, or not struggled with, but one of the things that has always bugged me is I love that everyone here on YouTube and that YouTube is the main community. But I've always felt that whenever I stream to the other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, not TikTok, Twitch, TikTok eventually, but whenever I stream to the other platforms, they always feel disjointed. And the way that StreamYard was set up, it didn't feel that it was one community. It always feels like it's separate communities that you pop up on the screen. So it was really important to me to update to change studio so I can have more flexibility in what I can do on stream. If any of you guys can test out something for me, because I know everyone's here on is here on YouTube. Can somebody go hop over onto the Facebook or Twitch? Can somebody go hop onto the Facebook or Twitch streams and just go drop a couple comments? I just kind of want to see the different stream. I just want to see the different stream types as I'm kind of testing this out. So like I said, this is a brand new setup. I'm playing around with it, which means this week there's probably going to be a lot of logistical things in playing around. Excellent. Thank you so much, Courtney. I see that there. And I think popping things up is still the same. Yep, absolutely. So popping things up is still the same. And I think I like that. What I would like, awesome. Perfect. And I think what I love about this is we are going to have some more setups and some more fun setups here. So I'm glad that I got that. I'm glad that it's not blurry anymore. Let's see. And we're going to be playing around with a couple of things today to see how it works. All right. And then let's check this and we're going to try something out. All right, and that actually lets us do a little bit more. So let me just pull up Scarecrow for a second. I just want to make sure I can pull it up on here and that it actually looks good. All right, here we go. And let's switch to this one. All right, there we go. So it looks like that is about there. And then I would just add some timers to that. So then this is what it'll look like if I'm doing a writing sprint. I think that's still good. So that's still about the same. But this way, the chat itself is still linked in. And let's pull this back. I think that is still looking good. So as we're playing around, let's see. And I've kind of looking at everyone's comments. I've been trying to figure out the streaming logistics of it. Thank you all for dropping by and bearing with me as I figure out technical difficulties. Oh, man. Emma, I saw you asked a question earlier, like, where's your hat? Great question. You know what? I used to only wear the hat. So for those of you guys who've been in the community for a while, I want to say the first 150 streams, I wore a beanie almost exclusively for the writing sprints. And then I started trying out the fedora. And then I just realized I was getting too hot wearing a hat every day. It wasn't even like a bald thing or my head or anything. I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll try a cool style. So eventually I kind of transitioned out of using the beanie, and I kind of just saved the fedora for more of the specialty streams or the weekend streams. So I feel like it kind of elevates the experience a little bit. Whereas like our weekday streams where I'm just here to write or clearly have play around with technical issues. We'll see. Courtney, like it was giving 2005. I need a dragon on the hat. That is exactly what I need. I need one of those hats that is like a dragon, one of those like furry hats that's just a dragon. Oh, that's funny. And Lynn, I saw that you had asked, was it a new stream camera? No, it's a new studio. So it's not a new camera. Trust me, I would love an actual camera instead of just this. I would love a camera so much, but in the future, investments in the future. No, this is a brand new streaming studio. So I'm testing out something outside of StreamYard so that way I could show the comment, which I kind of like that. I like that you can see all the different comments on screen. It makes it feel like it's more of a community and just like not just YouTube, but all of the platforms together, which I really like. Yeah, and it's like I actually don't think it was the camera. I think it's something to do with the connectivity. My guess is StreamYard's has a bigger server, so StreamYard's probably able to hold connectivity a little better. So, but it's once again, it's just trying out new things with new streaming experiences. Yeah, you know it's because I hopped off. I like that you guys were singing "Let It Go" to get me to come back. Oh man, you know what? Somebody apparently had to put a drag on it for me to show back up. Um, Something I do like is that it shows me how long ago each of these comments were posted in here. That's actually really interesting. Let's see. And I think it's pretty good as Kaufman kind of is bringing all his kids together. Yes. How'd you know, ML? We're bringing all the different communities together, all the different little writers out there. Absolutely. Absolutely, my friend. That is exactly what I'm trying to do. Hey, welcome, Mike. Okay, perfect. So I kind of like that. So what I would love to know, what do you guys think of the comments? So of the comments itself, because I wanted to play around with a couple different styles as I'm kind of thinking through what actually looks good. So let's see, where am I on the chat box? Let's see, let me go to the chat box setting. So I've been playing around with like how many different comments I wanted to show on the screen at a time, and I just haven't been able to. I haven't really figured out what I want. I've been playing around with sizes a little bit. And I'm looking at it on my screen. I know about 50% of you guys tend to watch it on a computer, and 50% of you will watch it on your phone. So I really wanted to make sure that both viewing experiences are still optimal. Well, obviously always better on a computer because you have more screen space. Experiences are still optimal. Well, obviously always better on a computer because you have more screen space. All right, I don't need that. But let's see. So it's kind of interesting. I was always asking myself, I'm like, all right, how big do I make the comments? And then how many do I show at a time? I would love your guys' feedback on what you guys think. Do you think it's more important to show more comments on screen at a time? Or do you think it's like, hey, I want to see that the comments are bigger so I can actually read the comments? I know it's never going to be one size fits all, but I would definitely love some feedback what you guys think. And awesome magic. This is absolutely magic, Rachel. 100%. Let's see. And holistic, welcome. Let's see, Lanyard. I like the comments. Let's see how. Okay, so it's a little bit of an animation whenever a new comment shows up. I like the comments on the screen personally. Me too. Completely agreed. It makes it feel like it's more of a live experience, which I absolutely love. And I knew this was something I've been wanting for a while. I think I was just waiting for the right time to have a week where I can actually play around with logistics because there's probably going to be tech issues throughout the week as I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't. Yeah, I completely agree with you. So now, like when people are on like Twitch or Facebook and they're commenting, it doesn't feel disjointed and it's not just me popping it up on the screen. I completely agree. I'm like totally going to be getting used to the things. And I think I can play around with the comments and the timing of things. Hey, what's up, Aether and Ink in the house, fellow Write Meowers? Absolutely. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Let's see, Courtney. Right now, I think they have about a 2-second show up anytime I do a new comment. I'm trying to think of if I like that. I mean, it makes it look a little bit more flashier. It definitely makes it look flashier. But then, granted, when I do that, so let's see, let me throw up a comment. Anytime I bring up a new comment, I kind of lose the bottom of the comment screen, which is like, I don't know if it's too important since they'll go up regardless. I think the comments are great, but during sprints, they shouldn't be there since the focus is on writing, which, that's actually really interesting. So, I mean, let me pull up the writing sprint screen, right? So let's say that we're focused on writing and like, I'll have the timer on the side here. The timer I'm not worried about. Do you guys think that during the writing sprints that comments should or shouldn't be on the screen during writing sprints. I would absolutely love your guys' feedback because I can go either way on it. But that's actually a really valid point, right? If we're writing and the focus is on writing, will comments on screen during the writing sprints pull focus from the writing sprint itself? As compared to, then I would just probably put the timer there. It's actually a really great point, Courtney. Yeah, you agree with that? Okay. Yeah, Mike, you bring up a really interesting point. You're like, I use the YouTube comments to read them, so having them on screen is not required. The size they are is good. Let's see, let's go back to this setup. I get cool new transitions. I feel like so new, updated and like techie. It's like, you know that feeling whenever you get like a brand new laptop or a new piece of technology or like a new car or something? It's like, I feel like all week I'm just going to want to play around with all like the logistics and see what I can actually do now. The StreamYard was a great starting experience for me, but in comparison to other options, it doesn't have a lot of functionality for doing more in-depth things. And this platform, it is not OBS. OBS is the most is a little bit more of an advanced one. This is kind of going in the direction of OBS, so that way I can do more. And there's a lot of functionality with apps, widgets, and obviously like things like the comment thing, which will be able to add more functionality to it, which is super cool. You said the flashing is distracting a bit. Are you saying like the flashing when like I change screens, or the flashing of like the comments? No, Penelope. I've changed to a brand new streaming software, a new streaming studio. So I've changed software. And the reason I moved from StreamYard, one, it just didn't have the functionality that I need for the direction where I really want to head the WriteNow community towards. And then two, there's been some StreamYard, when StreamYard was bought over last year, there with the pricing structure that they changed to was so ridiculous. And what they've adjusted now to their pricing, like it's not horrible, but in comparison to other options on the market, it's just kind of frustrating. So yeah, I think I was just kind of ready to change platforms, honestly. I just felt like I needed a break from StreamYard. So I figured I'll test out some other streaming softwares. And if I like it this week, if after I feel like, especially since we have some great streams this weekend, if they're great, then we'll stick with this software for a while and see how it feels. Oh yeah. And I mean, so you guys can see, I mean, I'll have the timer there. So I think right now, if I did, and I'll give you guys just an idea because I think timer should probably be on, I don't know. So if I do it with the stream, well, we'll throw back up the screen share for a sec. So let's see. It's like if I do it with something like this, let me just do this. It would probably look something to this effect. I would probably do something of this nature. And I think this is how I would do it. Let's just go to writing. Yeah, so I think if I was doing it and I kept up the comment section, this is probably how I would run it like this, I think. Yeah, but I mean, if you guys think that the comments during like a writing sprint is too distracting, I'm totally fine with replacing it with the timer. ML, like, no, it's magic. Calvin, you're like, honestly, in my sprints, I'm focused entirely on my screen. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are. That kind of changes from person to person. So, all right. So that is very, very cool. And let's see, what else do we have? So let's see, like maybe every once in a while he threw out sprints. Let's see, and we'll go back to this one. Perfect. To remind everyone we are still here. I know that's kind of what it is. That really is. And I mean, like the comments is more for you guys. Like I have my own comments that I'm going through here. The comments is really more for the viewer experience and more so it feels like a community across different social media platforms. Like I know like the majority of us are on YouTube, but I would say YouTube probably accounts for about 75% of the community, and then 25% is spread out across the other platforms. No longer will I let the our Facebook and Twitch friends, predominantly Facebook and Twitch, with some a few writers from Instagram and LinkedIn, but no longer will we let them be feel lonely and apart. This is a good call out, Courtney. You're like, could you pull the comments up in breaks and hide them during sprints? I absolutely could, right? And that's super easy, right? I would just go back to this screen then. I think that I would probably go back to this screen. Granted, I would have to have the timer up, so I'd probably throw the timer in the bottom right. Yeah, I'd probably throw the timer in the bottom right then. Something similar to this setup. Yeah, so I think what I would do in that scenario, I would throw myself on the left-hand side of it. Yeah, I would throw myself on the left-hand side and the timer where I'm at. So, but that's something I'll play around with offline. I think that's interesting. Hey, what's up, Neil? Welcome, my friend. Playing around with the new studio setup today. You like it? This looks slick. I dig it. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, you've noticed nobody really talks during a sprint, so maybe it would be distracting. I mean, that's kind of what I'm feeling. That's kind of what it sounds like based on what a couple of you guys are sharing. Yeah, I don't think having comments during sprints is a big deal, but I can see it might be distracting to some. Okay, so that's some good feedback for the sprints itself. Now, let's see, what is some other fun things to play around with? So I went with a couple of different banner styles with comments. Let me play around here. I mean, that one is a little faster. I was kind of playing around with the comment styles. I mean, I think that one looks flashier. It takes a moment for them to come up. All right, guys, I need your opinion. Which style do you want? So we'll go style number 1. All right, so this is style number 1, where you get the white. It looks like it's in a white banner like that. And then style number 2, which is the style I was using, which is this. And it's kind of set against the screen. There's no background on the comment, but granted, now that you guys can see the comments on screen, it might not be as important. Or let's see, there is style number 3. Let's see, and then this one would be, wow, that one's big. This is the biggest one. I was like, now you guys really see the comment, whether you want to or not. See, let's see, like Neil, seems like there should be a tag symbol to make it so a comment won't display if we are just asking a person a question in chat. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a feature for that in most chats. Like, yeah, I think the way it's set up is it's like with the chat things, it's either every chat or no chat. But maybe that's something to play around with. Maybe that is a thing and I just don't know of it yet. Let's see. And then comment style number 3. Okay, so then that one's a little bit smaller. So those are the 4. So I got, okay, so we had 1. We'll do that again. So this was style number 1, 2, and then we got style number 3 and 4. Interesting. Yeah, I can't decide which one I like the most. I mean, I like the way number 1 pops up the most personally. Like, I know I like the way number 1 shows up, but it kind of takes a second for the comment to appear. And then it doesn't have as much of a background as the other ones do. Let's see. Let's do number 1. Let's see, Courtney, like 1 highlights without taking away from your streaming. Yeah, and I think that's the only downside of 2 is 2 kind of makes it a little flashier and it kind of takes over the screen. All right, well, let's play around with this new polling feature then. Woo! we're going to play around with the new poll. Let's see. All right, I got to go to the layers then. All right, let's see if I can get it. Woo! All right. Well, I was playing around with the dragon poll, so we're going to change this, and we're going to see if this new polling, what this new polling feature feels like. So originally I was like, all right, style 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, what is this? Stream or graphic style. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so let's try that. And apparently you can do hashtags to vote. I don't know. Let's see if that actually works or not. All right, so I just did the hashtags on my end. You should be able to do hashtag 1, 2, 3, or 4 to actually be able to vote. Or let's see. Style 1, I was like, I have to make sure that I haven't voted at all. All right. So I was like, we'll see if number 2, I'm curious to see 9. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Looks like I got 9 options. I'm seeing if it's actually accurate or if it's just, if I have to do something on my end. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you can just do hashtags. That's so much better than just doing a link. I like doing hashtags way more because you can also do it. So it's like I'll drop it in chat if you guys want to see it. But I know I love using polling features. And I just dropped that in chat for all y'all if you want to. Oh, and apparently I'm posting from. Oh, it shows me posting all the platforms. Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. Okay, so then it looks like you can do it like either way. So you can either choose that one or you could just do the hashtag. Yeah, so it does. It looks like the chart has about like a 5-second lag time. So after you put in a hashtag or you go vote, so it looks like if you vote, the vote button happens immediately. The hashtag is about a 5-second delay, which isn't too horrible. And we get a new sound effect. Although I don't know how to stop the sound effect. So if I do it, I have to play the sound effect through. Oh, it's funny. This studio has like 10 built-in sound effects here. It's kind of funny. Oh man, I'm gonna have too much fun with these. Oof. All right. Well, that's interesting. All right. Well, clearly everyone likes style number 1 the most. All right. So let's see. Let me go back to the poll. Let me go check it out. Yeah. So clearly all you guys are liking the number 1 style the most. It looks like we have a couple like option 2 and one like option 3. I was like, I think that was what each one was. Yeah. So it looked like style 1 was the most popular, probably because of ease of viewability. So let's see, let's go. Yep. So styles 1 is what I got. Let's go back here. Oh, interesting. I was like, I don't know why I randomly disappeared from the screen there. That was an interesting one. Once again, we'll be playing around with tech issues all week, it looks like. Oh man. Oh yeah, and I see your guys' comments here as well. Yes, the mighty Miss Jezebel handed the keys to her cage over to Kaufman. So we're going to we'll see. We'll see what craziness Miss Jezebel will get into in the future. If she even lets me open her cage. Like I'm kind of afraid here. I don't know what will happen if we try to summon Jezebel from the Aether too early. No, it was kind of interesting. So I think there's a little I think there's a little there's going to be a learning curve. When I was researching this platform, one of the standouts comments that was a negative feedback of it was that sometimes it will drop the camera occasionally. So this is going to be a learning experience on if there's a glitchiness to the platform or if it's just a me problem, and I'm still trying to learn and see if it's just like a learning curve. Awesome, but I can see that you guys see me, which is great. Okay, so other announcements, and Kaufman will be playing around with this for weeks. So let's get the live stream schedule up for the week. Let me throw the live stream schedule up so you guys can see what the stream schedule. We actually got a really busy week too. We got a really busy full-on week for all y'all with the Right Now schedule. For those of you who haven't seen the schedule and aren't a part of the newsletter, let's throw that up on screen. All right. Okay, so it looks like I still got the poll there. So let me drop the poll. Let's see. So layers, let's hide the poll. There we go. Okay, so there's my screen share. So you guys can see this is the schedule for this week, for the week of the 17th. Obviously, today is our update. Some of our streams, like tomorrow's stream, is going to be a little later because my schedule is changing. This weekend, we have a full back-to-back weekend for you. Saturday, we'll be back with the story and critique show. So make sure that if you want feedback on your story, submit now. Linked down in the YouTube description down below. And this Sunday, I will be hosting the next episode of the Create Right Now podcast, where I'm going to be having Betsy Kulikowski on. And she has a really interesting journey. We're going to be talking about oh my god, imposter syndrome, fear and imposter syndrome, which are two very, very big topics. So we're going to be diving into that on this weekend's episode of the Create Right Now podcast. I am very excited. I always love when I have full weeks like this, which means my sprints during the week, we're going to have to be very, very on top of what we want to accomplish. So excellent. Glad I could get that there. All right. So we got that. This is going to be kind of a learning experience for me. I feel like now my eyes are kind of gravitating towards the comments on the screen, but then I kind of have them in the studio as well. So this will be a learning experience on my part. Now, let's see. What do we got here? Oh, look at that. I can go full screen. That's interesting. Okay. So it looks like that's better. So, oh, by the way, Lynn, I saw that. You're like, oh, hey, just hit my new personal best for KU read in a day, 32,253. That is absolutely incredible, my friend. So happy to hear that. That's really, really awesome. And Penelope, you're like, OMG, Neil, perfect. Yes, there's lore. Maybe Jezebel can convince Kaufman to write her memoir. Oh man, I'm already envisioning what that would be like memoir of like a slave in a cage. Memoir, what would that be? That'd be like memoir from the Aether, memoir from the void. And I feel like it would be written from the perspective of somebody who's like her slave who's being forced to write her story under threat of death or disintegration or something like that. That's really, really funny. All right, so that was pretty good. Okay, what other updates did we have today? So I wanted to we shared the stream schedule. I have one bigger announcement to make. I am trying to think of if there was any other minor updates before I get into that, and I do not think so. I do not think so. So that means we are going to hop into our bigger announcement. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to hop into the bigger announcement then, because I don't think I have any other minor ones. I do not think I have any other minor ones at this time. So I am so excited. I am so happy to be able to announce. Let me pull up my screen. All right. So I'm so happy that we're able to finally announce and introduce the brand new community event that we have coming to the community. So for those of you, as I have to pull up this early one. So for those of you who saw our holiday lineup, our holiday schedule, you guys have known that we have a couple of events coming to the community for the spring. Well, I'm actually proud to announce. Now, this one I need to update this logo. We'll actually be launching it this week, but I am so proud to announce that I am ready to share a sneak peek. I'm ready to share a sneak peek for our brand new community event. And we actually have a number of authors from the community who are going to be collaborating on us with this event. Today, one of the other authors have agreed to come on and join me as we get to announce and we get to hype up and start talking about what is this new book club? What is this new event? Let me formally and gladly welcome to the stage. See if I could pull off this right. I know you guys have never seen her before, and without further ado, let me welcome Courtney to the stage. Welcome, my friend.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome onto the live stream. I know I'm so happy to have you join me today, Courtney, and I know everybody always is already very aware of who you are. But for anybody who doesn't, who's not, you want to do a little quick intro, who you are?
Hi, Courtney. I am a baby writer, brand new, editing my first novel. Hopefully can get it published this year, and was published in the Freaky Friday anthology.
Very, very cool. And I was like, oh, Freaky Friday anthology. Oh, I'm so glad that I was able to finally get a setup where I could just have it advertised here. I know.
Yeah, I have it here too.
So Courtney, welcome. I am so happy to have you on here. I know when we started planning and when I really started thinking about the next major event, our next major community event, which was a book club, you were one of the first ones that came to mind because I know you are probably one of the most avid readers in our community, like without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to kind of be able to talk about it. Now, today we're just going to be introducing a very brief sneak peek into what this looks like. We're going to be having the official introduction of the community and what this event will look like next Monday. And we will be officially launching the book club itself March 1st. We're going to be launching our first month of the book club. Yeah. Let's see. What can I share today? We can share the title. So what we're going to be calling this. Courtney, do you want to do the honors? What are we calling this event?
Book club is going to be called Read Now.
Mm-hmm. It's like so simple and so easy. In a perfect world, Kaufman had created the graphic for it already, but it is not a perfect world. So that'll be next week. But I
Yeah.
know I'm super stoked, and I think Read Now is going to be very, very cool. And not only that, we're going to be joined by 4 other authors, collaborators in the community to be able to bring you Read Now. However, we're holding off on introducing who they are until next Monday. So I'm actually going to be leaving it to you, the community. Who do you think are the other 4 authors, the other 4 co-hosts who are going to be joining us for this event? I'm going to give you the week to take guesses. You can make any guess you want. Who do you think is going to be joining us to officially launch and kick off Read Now? So that's going to be part of the fun of this week. I'm kind of curious to see who you guys think will be joining us as official co-hosts, and we all just get to have fun and talk about books. And it's like, I know
Yeah,
I don't
let's-
do enough reading. I know, Courtney, I'm going to have to catch up to you.
Yeah, I don't know if you can. Unless you count reading your own book over and over again. But I don't count rereads. So.
You don't count. I mean, I've reread Scarecrow quite a number of times. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I don't count rereads. Last year, it was just under 200 novels, not counting rereads and not counting shorts. And I read a bunch of those. I just don't count
Maybe
those.
I should count rereads, so that way I can just put on my TBRs just the last Scarecrow, and that'll just be the only thing on there, and I'll just keep rereading it and pretend like I'm reading a lot of books.
That's fair. But I mean, that works for some people.
How so Courtney, do you want to share a little bit about your reading background? Because I know you mentioned it a little bit in the Discord, but like why did a book club interest you?
I like getting lost in books, and I like finding new indie authors. I'm really big on reading indie authors and not so much like bestsellers and stuff, just because like, I don't know, I like helping out the little man, but like, and I like finding new ones. And to me, it's more about a writing style and less about like the book. Like if I click with your writing style, then I will read anything you write, whether it's my genre or not. I'm all about a writing style. So this is like a cool way for me to like get different books that other people have enjoyed and find more authors to love.
I completely agree with that. And I loved ML's comment. You're like, Courtney is the chat soul of reading. I
fair.
completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I actually completely agree. I don't even know if I'll ever be able to catch up to you.
I mean, I might have a bad year. If I spend more time editing Fallen, then I might spend less time reading. So.
Well, we'll see. Maybe the book club will be able to incentivize me to read a little bit more. Maybe that is the key here.
Or introduce you to different ways of reading. Like I know a lot of people are like, I don't have time to sit down with a book and read it. Okay, but like you can listen to it. They have shorts sometimes that you can watch it. If you're on YouTube watching something, you can watch it, like there's different ways of reading. There's different ways of digesting someone's work and story.
I completely agree with that. And I think that's one of the amazing things about readers. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with writing. We get to write, we get to consume and create the things that we want in a way that benefits and makes sense for our lifestyle. I know, Lynn, you said, yay, indie author reader.
Yeah.
Absolutely agreed. And I know when we started planning for the book club, one of the biggest things that everybody said, and this was like across the board, I remember I asked this question. I'm like, what types of books should we read? Now, just to be clear, we'll be introducing the format and logistics of the book club next week, but this single question always resonated with me. I'm like, what types of books should we read? Do we do like a bestseller type one where it's more accessible? Or do we do something that's more indie and that's more for lesser known authors? And then I'm also asking, like, okay, well, how do we make it as something that's still tied into the community that doesn't pull away from the writing process? And it was a resounding. What was that?
That was big for me, is like making sure that like it wasn't too time consuming that people were like, I'm not going to even try because I have my own work to put out. That was like one big thing that I was big about, was like, let's do short stories or like smaller novels so that everybody still has time to actually work on their works.
Completely
'Cause it's a
agreed.
book club for writers. So
That's exactly what it is. Courtney, you like literally took the words out of my mouth. It is a book club for writers. And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing, right? Our community, we are not inherently a reading community. We're not booktube for the YouTubers on here. We are a writing community first and foremost. And everything that we introduce will always be in service of the writing process, right? Of incentivizing us to write more through the highs and the lows of it. And I think the way that we go about this book club is going to be really, really cool. Like I can promise you guys this. Everyone here in the community, you guys are going to really, really enjoy the experience. Because it's for writers. I completely agree with you, Courtney. I'm curious, what about the book club are you excited about?
finding different genres.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people look at me and they go, "She writes romance. She reads romance." Because I'm a big smut lover, and I'm very vocal about that in the comments. But I don't think people realize that I read other things too, and so like.
Yeah, I think when you're very vocal about like your main one, like everybody knows I'm a fantasy reader and I talk about Game of Thrones, so it's probably assumed like, oh, he only reads fantasy. But I know I've also mentioned I've done a lot of nonfiction the past couple years, so then we almost become the reader of that one genre we talk about instead of like, no, I like reading different things.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in finding more authors in different categories.
Master,
but I feel like
what was that?
I feel like you doing like writing romance and reading nonfiction is like completely polar opposites.
Writing romance and reading, yeah, ain't that the truth? And especially since I've done editing, it's like I've read like such a variety of different styles of books. Now that I've like edit in different genres, it's so fascinating, so fascinating. Yeah. And then Mast asked a great question here. You're like, are y'all going to include classics? Not many people read the classics anymore. That is a great question. We will, let's see, can I answer that? Mass Toaster will says we'll hold that question and we'll save that for next week for you. Since we're going to be revealing the types of books that we'll be reading, and the format and the layout of it now next Monday's stream. So that's a great question. TBD. Stick around, my friend. And I know you're right. Not many people do read the classics these days because of the introduction of things like book talk and how reading has changed in the digital age.
Also because of like banned books and stuff like that, and harder to get their hands on, and prices and stuff like that. So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really good point. So yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing with the book club. I was like, I don't think, because like I said, today's just a sneak peek. So I'll be hyping it up throughout the week. Courtney is going to be my fellow writer in arms as we tackle this event. And then we'll introduce the other 4 mystery surprise co-hosts next Monday. I'm very curious to see if anybody can do this. What was that?
I was surprised with a few of them when we had that co-host meet. I was like, oh my gosh.
Right. And I was like, the one thing that I really wanted to happen is I wanted the book club, and I want most of the Right Now stuff to be collaborative, community-based events. So I knew the one thing for a book club of this nature is I wanted to bring in a variety of different writers/readers with different styles. So that's very important. So I think next Monday stream is going to be super exciting, and I'm very curious to see if anybody in the community is able to guess.
Yeah, I do think we should answer that question from Ast.
So this is a great question. Like, the book club is part of the $5 subscription, right? Right now, there is no paywall. There is going to be no paywall to be a part of the book club. I believe in anything that I introduce, there's a free option. And then for people who want to support or people who do pay for it, you get like additional value for paying for the tiered subscriptions. So I think I will probably wrap something into the $5 tier, but just to be a part of the book club, that does not cost. because I want it to be accessible. That's very important to me. At the same time, I also need to make sure my time is being valued in addition to everybody else who is included in it. It's very, very
Not to
important.
mention, we wouldn't want people not to be able to get the book for the book club
Mhm.
because they couldn't afford it because they were a part of the subscription. So
Exactly. And something that we have made very clear is the book club will be accessible to everyone. And I think that is the one thing I can share. The Read Now book club will be accessible to everyone in the community. So really great question, Mast. Very, very great question. And yeah, definitely. If you guys have questions about the book club at all, feel free to keep dropping them in the chat. Let us or drop them over in the Discord. We will be launching a book club Read Now specific channel when the book club launches on March 1st. So right around the corner. It's only a couple weeks. We're already halfway through February. Wow. Man, already almost 2 months out of the year. How 2025 is quite a trip.
yeah, I already feel like we're 6 months in, but
I know, right? One day
we're
after
like
the
that
other.
6 weeks.
Awesome. So I think that's everything that I have on the book club. Is there anything else, Courtney, that comes to mind for you?
No, I would really just harp on the fact that like we want this to be accessible to everybody. And as somebody who lives off disability, if I find it to be acceptable, I feel like other people it will help them too. And we just want to harp on like it's going to be affordable and it's for writers. So check it out.
Awesome. Mhm. Okay, perfect. So Courtney, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to outro it with the community, but I know we'll be seeing more of you around, especially as we get into the Read Now book club. And yeah, I think that's all that I got.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right, and I'll see if I got this. There we go. Perfect. All right. Awesome. As I continue to get used to the logistics of the book club. So I realized through that, I'm like, what was the one thing I'm forgetting? I was like, oh yeah, I'm forgetting my actual paid stuff. Like that's the thing I need to talk about. So last week, might have been 2 weeks ago, I did a refresh for the writing services website, which has been very, very cool. So let me see. Let's see. Let me pull up the writing services website. Where are we at? Let me pull it up here. Okay. I think I was like, as I get used to which screen is the right screen. Perfect. So I told you guys I did a refresh of the writing services of my writing service website, The Creative Ghost. I continue to do some more adjusting so that way it's a little bit more accessible now. So for those of you who are looking for writing services, and this is specifically for developmental editing, line editing, copy editing, proofreading, I feel very, very confident about the process. I've streamlined it a little bit. So I'm very, very happy with how it's come out. I was like, oh, that should be even, but I'm very happy with it. And now the website feels much more it just feels a little bit smoother. Let me drop this here. I just dropped that here for anyone who wants to go check it out. And this is interesting. I see my comments go to LinkedIn and YouTube, but I do not see Facebook. Well, it's going to be a learning experience. So we have here on the editing services website, for some reason it comes out funky here. That's interesting. So when here, because it's so much bigger. Okay, there we go. Like that is what it should look like. So here we go. So we have much more. I've highlighted the editing services for those of you who maybe you'll be looking for something in the future. I very clearly go through the details of what you'll receive. And right, there's the editor, there's the editor. I've showed that. And I've kind of simplified the portfolio portion of it because I realized with the portfolio, for at least for editing services, the focus needed to be on if somebody wanted to come in for editing who wasn't familiar with me, that they could go in and they could actually see what my editing style is. So now when they're going through the portfolio, they're actually able to see like, okay, what type of edit is it? What genre? And then they're able to see a couple pages of the edit. And then I throw in the testimonial on the side, kind of going back and forth. It's like, I think the testimonial works for now, but we'll kind of see. And then I go through the different portions, right? Kind of clarifying the different types of edits that these projects are. Once again, thank you, friends, for supporting me. And I'm glad that this has been a great experience. Courtney, thank you, my friends. The lovely Miss Penelope with the literary fiction over here. Wonderful. Some developmental. I tried to do a nice range of everything, of a couple of the services. I need to add one of the proofreading ones on there, which I just haven't gotten to yet. And then I've done a services explain now at the bottom. So now for those of you who aren't super familiar with the differences of the 4 types of editing services, developmental editing, line editing, copy editing, and proofreading, you can actually now like go through this. I know you can generally find it online, but I think this is a nice area for you to be able to see how much I'm charging, of which my rates are generally, I think they're probably maybe about 10%, maybe 10 to 15% below the market value. But then what I try to do to stand out that not every editor does is I'm including a story Bible, which helps everybody. So the story Bible is like the unique thing I offer. And then I really try to play into offering discounts for all of my services to make my writing services more accessible. So that's the biggest thing that I really try to focus on. Yeah. So that's what I got for y'all. Yes. On the morrow. I was like, let's go to this one. As we go towards creative writing on the morrow, I'll be back. It's going to be a little bit of a later stream tomorrow because of my schedule. So as you guys can see, I'll be back at all these times are mountain, which means that it will be 4 p.m. Pacific, 5, 6, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be back tomorrow for a later writing sprint, 4 Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is 5 p.m. Mountain time for some writing sprints, and I need to make progress on Scarecrow as per the norm. So, yeah, that's everything that I have for all y'all today, my friends. Don't forget, tap that like button on your way out if you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for supporting us. Today has been a very learning experience of a writing stream as we're kind of getting used to the new stream studio setup, and it will be awesome. Now, unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow.